Too like the lightning, which doth cease to be, ere one can say it lightens. Hello and welcome to Liam's Lyceum. I'm your host, Liam, aka Himbar, and today I'll be doing a spoiler-free review of Ada Palmer's Too Like the Lightning. Too Like the Lightning is a 2016 novel, of course, by Ada Palmer, and it is a science fiction novel. Its title comes from the metaphor said by Juliet, describing the unpredictable nature of love, of course, in Romeo and Juliet by William Shakespeare. It's a pretty famous line. But it is first book in the Terra Ignota series, which has 4 volumes. This term, Terra Ignota, of course, is Latin for the unknown land or unknown land, though it's actually more common to see it as Terra Incognita in English. This is set in the 25th century, and so therefore has an archaic style for that time period, though it is a little just outdated for our modern reader, I think. It is 2454 Earth. Earth has been at peace for 3 centuries, so says our unreliable narrator, Mycroft. And so it's a memoir in first person. It involved a stolen document being planted in the home of the Sneer Weeks Booth, kind of enclave, and the intrigue around that. While this is happening, Mycroft strives to protect the child named Bridger that has an unreal, pretty much fantastical power. It's pretty much about a descent into war from a pretty much utopian state. The work week is 20 hours. Food doesn't need harvested. Socially, everyone is gender neutral, so there's no nuclear family. Religion is pretty heavily restricted. Surveillance is part of everything. There's no hiding from pretty much anything. And so it's very left-wing utopia in that, at least that last social sense. The world leadership is a bit vague. There is universal law. There are hives, though, that use different languages and have distinct cultures. States as we think of them don't exist. You can be hiveless, but there are some laws everyone follows. And these kind of vary, though. It's a bit more complex. As far as crime is concerned, there is no death penalty, but criminals are slaves, though the term indentured servant is used in the book. Also, the main character doesn't really follow the gender-neutral pronoun thing that is accepted worldwide, apparently. He assigns, like I said, Mycroft names himself a he. He assigns, though, gender as he sees fit, not necessarily based off sex, actually, but by personality, which is him stereotyping and misgendering. Ironically, it probably meant to be. He's self-proclaimed as unreliable, though, I remember. So I think it works well for exploring the future, for exploring character, and it kind of molds with this archaic style, which is really not that difficult for a modern reader, but it is notably archaic, I guess, for centuries from now. It's pretty much like an easy 19th or century or so language. Another aspect is the sexual aspect to gendered language. Society being largely prudish, it seems erotic to actually gender someone, at least publicly. That's enough about the world, though, and don't worry, Palmer handles this pretty well. You don't get some hefty exposition at the start, and it does start well, actually. I sink right in, at least immediately, and at least for the beginning part of the story. Mycroft is a criminal, but a genius, and while it sounds very secular, Mycroft deals with questions of the human soul that you often get in a more religious context, talking of death and miracles. It feels very human in a way that, humans still fail, but they still try. And they hold on to something that's flawed that they think can help themselves or help others. It feels very interesting for a sci-fi book. It feels alien socially, but plausible in a distant future sense. The tech is not the highlight of the book, though. There are many allusions or straight references to classical stories that feel much more important than this tech. It feels kind of like it was written by a humanities student or someone like that. There's also a prediction, statistics vaguely like Asimov's psychohistory, but the science is hard to visualize, and I had very little feel for the world would actually look like or feel like, really. There is a holiday based off a Norse deity. There's definitely the glory of Rome. There's a device called the Gyges, actually, like the famed ring in Plato's Republic. This is important to the story, actually. And the plot itself did not actually immediately grip me, and it didn't really do so throughout the book. I mean, it was okay, but the world and experience were gripping enough. The characters are all big movers and shakers. There's pretty much no nobodies, right? There's no little people. It reminded me of that quote from Shippey, actually, that I'll share here at the end. But it's a social science fiction novel, some humanities stuff thrown in. It's not terrible. I had a hard time, again, relating to these characters. That's mostly where I'm just like, kind of, I like the story, I didn't love it. The style is thick and plotting, lots of thoughts, more so than plot at times. Mostly 18th and 19th century stuff thrown in with some Latin and some medieval and classical stuff. And the world building really is great. I can recognize that. It just didn't grip me all that much. It feels very different, though, than a lot of other sci-fi, which I can appreciate that at least as well. But at the end of it, I was kind of left feeling like, about it. Honestly, I don't think I'll read the rest of the series. And again, it's mostly because it reminded me too much of a 19th century, early 19th century, or 18th century novel where it's just about stuff that I don't care about. So that's why I'm going to share this shippy quote. Genteel adultery in East Massachusetts, minor spats in North London and North Oxford, people who were actually nothing like as interesting as they thought they were. What were the great issues? What was really important, even to the haute bourgeoisie over most of Europe, was of being bombed and suffering ethnic cleansing and suffering genocide, and wondering what was the meaning of all this. And I think that's the quote from Shippey, Tom Shippey. I think that's kind of being missed here. You kind of see it. Some of it's coming through. It probably comes through more later in the series, but like, I don't know. It's just okay. Like, it didn't make me care. And, well, if I don't care, I don't care. Anyways, thanks for watching or listening.